Yes.
Well, hey, here on the Daily Brew today, CBS announced last night the late night show with Stephen Colbert and the Late Show franchise will be canceled in May 2026, calling it purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. CBS called Colbert irreplaceable and said that the show's ending was not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount.
Colbert broke that news to his audience during last night's taping, saying that he just found out that next year will be the show's final season. The audience, of course, responded with an outcry of no and boos, and Colbert said that he shared their feelings, and he thanked the show's band and said that he's extraordinarily grateful for all the people who worked there. Colbert took over The Late Show from David Letterman in 2015, and then before that, he hosted The Colbert Report on Comedy Central.
Did either of y'all watch this show?
It's a little bit past my bedtime.
Yeah, well, yes, usually for us, we're in bed. We try to be in bed by, 6 or 7. I haven't watched his. Usually when I was younger, my parents loved Jay Leno. And then when Fallon took over, there was like, all right, we'll just watch Fallon then. So usually I watched him out of the late night host.
Yeah, that's what I would watch with my dad. But I do feel like this is the end of an era. He's created just such a name for himself. And I hate hearing that he found out that same day and had to make the announcement. Can you imagine hearing that and then having to go and do the show? Like, you feel like at least they could tell him on a weekend and give him a few days to kind of process it before he tells everyone.
Yeah, you have to question too if he was allowed to say that day that he's gonna, or if he came out of the meeting and was like, well, I'm telling them tonight.
Well, I bet the way with social media and things like that, news breaks so fast or gets leaked that it was probably they kind of had to tell him right before because they didn't want it to get out. They wanted him to be the one to tell.
Yeah, at least they told them themselves rather than, like you said, getting leaked, because that happens a lot in news or sports. You see someone get traded, in sports, and you're like, well, I didn't hear that. So it's tough to hear from that. And another thing is, so if his is getting canceled and it says purely financial standpoint, are other shows, Jimmy Kimmel's, Jimmy Fallon's, because they did also cancel Taylor Tomlinson's show, The Late Late Show, which happens after Colbert. So you just wonder if this is just going to be a new shift where we're not going to have any late shows in general.
I feel like some will probably stick around. I think it probably depends on the network and just, I kind of feel like something else has to go into it other than financials, right? Because they're not going to cut top money-making, successful shows.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see. I hope that they find something to replace it because you hate to see late night television go away.
Yeah, exactly.
It is such a key part, I feel like, of network news, right?
It's just iconic TV.
Yeah, for sure. Well, on another note, you've heard of destination weddings. Now meet the family moon. So it's the latest Gen Z twist on post-wedding plans, inviting parents, friends, even in-laws on the honeymoon. Here's some reactions from people on the new trend.
I think a honeymoon is an intimate time, not for in-laws and parents.
I think it's a bad idea. I would never bring in-laws on a honeymoon. They may get in the way.
Unless they're on the other end of the island.
Of course, experts say that if you are going to do this, set some boundaries, maybe keep mom on the other side of the island. My parents actually, technically they did go on a honeymoon with their in-laws. They went with my grandparents and they seemed to enjoy it. I've never heard that they complained about it.
I did not go on a honeymoon with my parents or my in-laws, and I love them. And that, I know we would have had fun, but I love just having that time with my husband on the trip where we could talk about the wedding, our memories from it. And two, one thing we did was we waited a day to leave on the honeymoon. So we had breakfast with people the day after. And I see a lot of people doing stuff like that. Maybe breakfast the next morning or lunch and then kind of going off. So I feel like you can hang out and still have your own honeymoon.